Peace, everybody. This is Milana Al Hassan with the Crypto Playing Group. Today is part 2 of the security exchange research on cryptocurrencies. And currently the subject is BitConnect. So, right now I'm on Google, and as you see, I have an article or something I looked in the search engine. You see how I boiled the keywords down. So, if you notice, it says CoinDesk. I'm not really going off CoinDesk. You can go to CoinDesk or anywhere else to get this information. You know what I mean? Well, excuse the ums. But besides people like CoinDesk, you need to know how to find the information from its source on your own, so you can be able to find the best information that you can. So down here is an article written by the SEC on Ponzi schemes using virtual currencies, as they call it, as they label as they say. So we're going to go into this and we're going to read it. So give me a second. Still waiting on this page to load up. I don't know what the issue is. But the thing is, you have people like the SEC that we heard sent the people that were promoting BitConnect letters to show up to testify, for whatever reason. So this is 3 pages long. So I'm going to try to run through some of this stuff. Okay. Investor alert. Ponzi schemes using virtual currencies. The SEC's Office of Investor Education and Advocacy issuing the investor alert to warn individual investors about fraudulent investment schemes that may involve Bitcoin and other virtual currencies. Ponzi schemes generally. A Ponzi scheme is an investment scam that involves the payment of purported returns to existing investors from funds contributed by new investors. Ponzi schemes organizers often solicit new investors by promising to invest funds in opportunities claimed to generate high returns with little or no risk. In many Ponzi schemes, rather than engage in any legitimate investment activity, the fraudulent actors focus on attracting new money to make promised payments to earlier investors, as well as to divert some of these invested funds for personal use. The SEC investigates and prosecutes many Ponzi scheme cases each year to prevent new victims from being harmed and to maximize recovery of assets to investors. Okay. As with many frauds, Ponzi schemes organizers often use the latest innovation, technology, product, or group industry to entice investors and give their scheme the promise of high returns. Potential investors are often less skeptical of an investment opportunity when assessing something novel, new or cutting edge. Now note this case, Bitcoin Ponzi scheme. In a recent case, SEC versus Shavers, the organizer of an alleged Ponzi scheme advertised a Bitcoin investment opportunity in an online Bitcoin forum. Investors were allegedly promised up to 7% interest per week, and that the investment funds would be used for Bitcoin arbitrage activities in order to generate the returns. Instead, invested Bitcoins were allegedly used to pay existing investors and exchanged into US dollars to pay the organizer's personal expenses. Isn't that something? So some of the things, as we know with ICOs and things of that nature, they have an allocation for the organizers and the people who help with the projects. So that's kind of interesting also. Common red flags of fraud. Many Ponzi schemes share common characteristics following or some red flags. Point. High investment returns with little or no risk. Every investment carries some degree of risk, and investments yielding higher returns typically involve more risk. Guaranteed investment returns or promises a high return for little risk should be viewed skeptically. 2. Overly consistent returns. Investments tend to go up and down over time, especially those seeking high returns. Be suspect of an investment that generates consistent returns regardless of overall market conditions. This is a hell of a statement. I mean, all of it is a hell of a statement, but this is one thing that people should understand. Like, you could literally see. Now, I'm gonna make another video where you can see some things, some keys to scams, frauds, and some signs of messed up programs that people are investing in, including games. What they're calling games now, they're not saying lending, they call them games now. So, staking in games. Unregistered investments. Okay, Ponzi schemes typically involve investments that have not been registered with the SEC or with state security regulators. I'm always skeptical with that because these are humans that's running these things. Just because you're not calling it a SEC investment, you know what I'm saying? So, they can say anything's security, I think. But unlicensed sellers. Okay, so we know how that goes. Unlicensed, getting permission from somebody to sell some stuff. So, federal and state securities law require certain investment professionals and their firms to be licensed or registered. Many Ponzi schemes involve unlicensed individuals or unregistered firms. Okay. As you know, I'm not a lawyer. I have been pro se in my own case. I'm not a lawyer, but I do know how to research. And, you're looking at words like unlicensed and federal and state laws and Ponzi schemes involve unlicensed, you're getting licenses from the state and the feds. So, personally, I just think that anybody, who has power can just give you permission for stuff. Secretive or complex strategies and fee structure. It is a good rule of thumb to avoid investments you don't understand or for which you cannot get complete information. Now, I'm going to hit on some about that too. No minimum investor qualifications. Most legitimate private investment opportunities require you to be an accredited investor. You should be highly skeptical of investment opportunities that do not ask about your salary or net worth. Issues with paperwork. Be skeptical of excuses regarding why you cannot review information about the investment in writing. Always read and carefully consider an investment prospectus or disclosure statement before investing. Be on the lookout for errors in account statements which may be a sign of fraudulent activity. Let me hit on something about that also, because a lot of these people in these ICOs, a lot of these fraudulent ICOs, they have white papers, and the white papers have typos. Now that's a sign. For me, that's a very big sign. If you can't spell and if you can't use Apple's word correction or old janky Windows, word corrections, then that's a big issue. And that's a sign to me. Issues of paperwork. Be skeptical of excuses. You go on why you can't review. Okay, I think I said that. I said again, review information about the investment in writing. Always read and carefully consider in investments prospectus, a disclosure statement before investing. Be on the lookout for errors in account statements which may be a sign of fraudulent activity. Difficulty receiving payments. Be suspicious if you don't receive a payment or have difficulty cashing out your investment. Ponzi schemes organizers sometimes encourage participants to roll over promised payments by offering higher investment returns. You all need to look at that. Look at that technique. That's a technique right there. Right here, Ponzi scheme model. It comes through someone with a shared affinity. Fraudsters often exploit the trust derived from being members of a group that shares an affinity, such as a national, ethnic, or religious affiliation. Sometimes respected leaders or prominent members may be enlisted knowingly or unknowingly to spread the word about the investment. Now that's very interesting also. So right here we have what the SEC has written. This on Ponzi schemes. I'll put the link below so people can look at it. It's a very interesting article. The SEC, even though I'm very skeptical about government, decentralization, saying something is a security. They don't have power over certain things, but the information here is, I think is very valuable. Personally, not a lawyer, not any type of financial anything. So that means none of this stuff, whatever profession somebody is in the finance, I'm not any of that. So take it up on yourself, your own research. But this is, I think, personally a good research. Also, if you go to the PDF and you click on SEC versus Shavers Bitcoin Ponzi schemes, it will direct you to, it should direct you to the actual case. So this is how you do research pertaining to any kind of case on cryptocurrency. Go to the SEC site, go to the district court sites. All right, so we're getting ready to stop this video. And 3, 2,